like I said, my goal today is to just get some clarity around our roadmaps. Obviously, Pete and I gave you a lot. We tried to pre-plan everyone's roadmaps and then workshop them over the week. So I don't want anyone to feel overwhelmed or like, oh my God, this is so much. Like, our goal really is to help you just produce enough bare minimum habits over the course of this week and over the course of your life across fitness, nutrition, and lifestyle. Hopefully you queued in this morning to the like 20-minute video that Pete and I had on fitness and us, just bare minimum habiting our fitness for the week. So if you want to put it in the chat, what is your bare minimum commitment of fitness for this week? So maybe Pete and I said that, like, oh, maybe your overachieving self said, I'm going to come 6 times this week. And so then we wrote it out for you and was like, oh, 4 of this and 2 of this and pepper in this and da da da. And then you realize, oh my God, you're traveling this week and that actually can't pan out. So, like, realistically for you, what is your bare minimum habit for fitness over the course of this week? It can be in strength, it can be in conditioning. So write that into the chat and then prepare yourself for our bare minimum stretch. My favorite bare minimum stretch is a couch stretch. So if you excuse me, I have my chair. You probably have something, unless you're driving. Don't do this if you're driving, right? But if you're not driving, I want everyone to stop whatever they're doing and situate themselves. I'm going to go a little awkward here just because I don't want to move the camera, but I want you to sit yourself on the floor. Imagine this is the floor and I'm up against the chair. My knee is as close to the chair as I possibly can, and I'm in like a little bit of a lunge, right? I'm standing up tall, but I just want you guys, if you can, to get into a place where you can extend your hip, right? Because a lot of times we are just like overly sitting and crouched forward and driving all day and hunchbacking. And if you know me at all, I am a resist the hunchback by chest pumping the world. And it all starts with tucking your tailbone under, squeezing your butt cheek. And we're just going to hold this for 2 minutes. Yeah. We're going to do this as we chat. If you want to do it standing like me, I got 1 foot down on the floor, one knee up high, my tailbone tucks under. I'm not arching my back. I want to reverse my twerk and press my hips forward and find that stretch. So we're holding this for a little while. You're thinking about squeezing your butt cheek, pressing your hips, and then you're thinking to yourself, okay, fitness. And then I want you to think, like, what do you tend to bias, right? Because we always say 90% is showing up. And the goal first is just finding something that you actually want to show up for, right? And so we all kind of have our bias. We all have a bias. And so I want you to kind of think about, like, what's easy for you to show up to? Is it class? Is it open gym? Is it a build class or a train class? Is it a certain coach or a certain person you got your buddy group that you show up for? Like, what makes it easy for you to carve out the time and makes you actually want to show up? So it could be a person, it can be the type of programming, whatever that is. So put that in the chat. Think about that. We don't necessarily need to share at this time, but everyone has their bias, right? Like for Pete, it's strength. Like he's always going to wake up and do, 6 days a week, he's always going to do a strength workout, right? And for him, it's really hard to get him to do this stuff. So that's why I am accumulating with him enough bare minimum habits over the course of the week that we can kind of support each other in that. All right, think about that and slowly glide yourself on out of that side if you are stretching. And then we will do it on the other side. And if you are not doing it because you're driving or because like you just can't do it, that's fine. But if you're not doing it just because you're watching, it's like, okay, sure, focus all your energy on me. But also, that is really what habit stacking is all about. It's like, can I choose to do something while I'm doing something else? So it just makes it easy for myself to do the bare minimum. So I'm here, I'm setting myself up. I tuck my tailbone under, thrust my hips forward, press, 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 enjoy, do all the little maneuvering, squeeze your butt cheek. It feels good, I promise. And so we're thinking about fitness, we're thinking about movement. We've established our bare minimum commitment for this week. And then we think, okay, what's going to be the easy thing for me to show up for? And then now I want you to think, like, what's the hard thing? What's the thing that you need to be reminded to do? What's like the thing that's always like the little voice on your shoulder that's like, oh, you didn't do that? Like, is it stretching? Is it like a little cardio? Do you have like a dog? Right? This is me. Mine was that I always have a cute little Bower and I stopped taking him for walks and would just like let him out in the backyard. And he was getting more and more antsy and restless. And then I decided that I needed to start just taking him for a walk. And now I walk more. I'm outside. I enjoy nature. And my dog gets what, he needs as well. So think about those things that maybe you're not doing that's not easy for you, that you're kind of, cutting short right now, and put that in the chat. Just say that, mark things that you need a little bit of support on. Because hopefully, if we're doing our jobs, that's like the thing that we're going to help you out with, right? Like if it's easy for you to show up for strength, then we're just going to be like, woohoo, good on you, you showed up again. But the things that are going to be hard for you to do, that's why you're doing this program, right? Like that's why you want the little kick under your butt and like a little fire, right? All right, so after 2 minutes, we slowly ease ourselves out. And then we give ourselves a little pat on the back for doing the bare minimum, right? So if your hips are tight, try to do the bare minimum. I sit a lot. I am constantly like this. So I invite you to do that as well. Okay. So we've covered a couple things. And really, I want these meetings to be like super workshoppy. And I know that there's a ton of people on here, and it's going to be nearly impossible to get through like everyone's individual roadmap and kind of fine tune that. But that's what the whole week is for, right? That's why we want you to come in as often or as little, participate as often and as much as you want. And that way, we really can have a chance to kind of fine tune, curate. So as you're tuning into these calls, think about some questions that you have. That way you can come in a little bit, prepared, and that way we can come to workshop them. And don't be stressed, because a lot of people, we all have similar questions. We all have similar concerns, similar constraints. So we can all learn from each other. So before I just take over, which I can always do, and, fill space, I'm going to turn it over to you guys and see if there is anything that right now, any burning questions on your minds after just getting your roadmap.
For those of you that are on a weight gain protocol, obviously one of the problems is getting enough calories in by the end of the day. Like we reach a satiation point where we just don't want to eat any more food. So getting those calories in early can be super important. Vice versa to that, if we're trying to lose weight, we're trying to lose fat, then it's like, okay, what am I starting my day with positively so that I'm not overloading calories? Because I want to save my calories for later in the day. I have to make sure that I'm not over consuming early on, but I also want to make sure I'm kickstarting my metabolism. So for most of you guys, it'll be kind of a 300 calorie, between 300 and 500 calorie breakfast. For those of you that are on the weight gain, obviously it's going to look more like 1,000, like Greg and Taylor are on. But again, you have to have that strategy to get started, because it's super important that that mindset of like, I'm going to start the ball rolling in the right way is how you need to think about organizing your week. If it's like, if you don't know what you're eating, if it's 7 a.m. and you don't know what you're eating and you're having breakfast at 7:30, it's kind of too late, because at that point you're kind of like scrambling. So do yourself a favor and have that clarity the day before of like, okay, how am I starting my day? Because if you can do that, if you can do that one small thing, I guarantee you the rest of the day will be a lot easier. Okay.
Yeah.
So this week is all about that kind of like a bare minimum habit. We're all starting this journey from a different spot. Some of us are just kind of starting out. Some of us are very experienced. We're doing this a really long time. The question you need to ask yourself right now is like, what am I prepared to do this week? What am I guaranteed I definitely going to do this. I'm not going to fail habits. So whether that's I'm going to work out 3 times this week, I'm going to work out twice this week, I'm going to make sure that I walk every evening, I'm going to make sure that I do 3 sessions of cardio this week, I'm going to make sure that I do my mobility 3 times a week. That's my one. I've got to get my mobility in. I'm having issues with my knees from all the driving, from the hips. So my bare minimum habit is to get at least 3 mobility sessions in the week on top of what I already do, because some stuff is easy for me, right? Working out for me is easy. Like it's a pleasure. Like I love doing it. Repair, recovery, stretching, not so easy. It's the one thing that I'll always sacrifice. We need to decide for ourselves, okay, what is my most important thing right now that's gonna, you know, bring the needle forward, and what am I willing to commit to? So if you have a piece of paper there, or if you've got your map in front of you, make sure you highlight like what are my bare minimum habits to get right this week, and what am I willing to commit to? Because once you commit to those bare minimum habits, you can stack on top of it. If you watch the video that me and Emily sent out, you should have got that this morning. We talk about habit stacking, right? You have to have those building blocks in the beginning, those good basic habits, and then you just keep adding, 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 adding. If you try and start with everything right away, some of us will just get overwhelmed and be like, oh my God, this is just too much. I can't do this. And you'll feel like a failure. So We want to feel, positive. We want to feel successful. So start with the basics and then think like every day or every week, I'm just going to add one more positive thing to this to get better and better and better. So right now, with what you have in front of you, with your roadmap, is anybody having any issues, any questions that you want to highlight right now? Like I said, I want to make sure we get our week started off right. So fire away with any questions you may have. Anybody?